such.
Excuse
Hi,
me.
come
Hi,
on
Katie.
in.
Thank you very much.
Find a spot somewhere. Okay, we are, and are you drenched like a rat? Did it
No.
rain on you?
No.
No, you didn't
I'm
get
good.
rained. Oh, that's good. Okay,
Excuse me, I'm sorry for being late. What time are we supposed to be here? I thought it
6:30.
was- I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought it was 7.
No. Well, by the time we get started, it's probably about 7. So, and just so that you all know, it's okay if you're late. I understand that many of you work all day, and we all have crazy schedules. And this is a really tough. This is like we always called it when I was younger, the cyanide hour for moms and kids and families. So, and if you during the class you need to go to the bathroom and get a drink, do it. Just no, you don't have to raise your hand or anything. Okay, let me just read this verse for you to start us out this evening. This is out of Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5 through 9. Just as a word of encouragement to you.
Proverbs what?
Proverbs 4, chapter 4, verses 5 through 9. Acquire wisdom, acquire understanding. Do not forget nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not forsake her, and she will guard you. Love her, and she will watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is acquiring wisdom, and with all your acquiring, get understanding. Prize her, and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. She will place on your head a garland of grace, and she will present you with a crown of beauty. Isn't that amazing?
Awesome.
Word? I love that passage. And it's just such an exhortation to me that God, in his great wisdom, he gave us all these wonderful Psalms and Proverbs that encourage us to understand the value of gaining wisdom. That seeking after wisdom and insight and truth and knowledge of who our God is, after all, this is the very Word of God. This is our God, written to us in pages that we can come to know him better. And if we don't search for this kind of wisdom, then we miss everything. Because in here is the face of our God and the knowledge of him. So the world would like you to believe otherwise. They would like you to believe that all your efforts in a class like this is wasteful, is arrogance, is pridefulness. And I want you to know it's just the opposite. It's humility. It's understanding who is God and who you are, and the necessity that we come to know who our God is. And so I say to you, it is wisdom. And the reason I'm able to say that so confidently is because God says this is wisdom. Wisdom is the beginning of wisdom. Gaining wisdom is the beginning of wisdom. So go for it, girls and boys. All right, now, I want to talk again now. This week, your whole week's homework the purpose of it was to set context. So I want to just review very quickly with you what is context, to remind you of that particular definition. What is context? And define that for me.
Always rules as king.
It always rules as king. So context is king. That's kind of one of those Precept mottos, isn't it? That I remember it's the very first thing I learned when I went to Precept training is context is king. All right, and
the information that precedes it and follows it, it's the things that surround it, encompass it, so it gives you a complete picture.
Okay,
We talked about
so it's
the trunk. If you just said the word trunk, you
Yeah.
could come up with 4 or 5 different definitions.
right.
If you just pick a verse out of somewhere, you might have come up with different meanings, not knowing who the verse was written to and what other things have been said beforehand.
Okay, so it's the environment in which something is found, and it gives meaning to it, right? It gives you understanding of it. When you think about context, Precept always talks about a plumb line. You all know what a plumb line is. We've talked about this before, but it's that heavy metal lead. To me, it looks like a fishing lure. It's very large and heavy. It has a long string usually attached, and you can lay it up against a door frame, for instance, and it will tell you if your door is straight, correct? So it gives you, it lets you know if you're off at all on something. So the idea of a plumb line is what Precept has always used. But I shouldn't say I came up with. The Lord gave me a really cool little insight. I went with Kay Arthur back in 1999 on a Greek, it was called Paul's Journeys. And it was a trip all through Greece, and we even did the Greek islands. We did a little tour on the ocean. We ended up at Patmos, where she taught this absolutely phenomenal 2.5-hour session of just the book of she taught the entire book of Revelation in 2.5 hours. It was amazing, with all the visual aids. She picked people from the audience, and they all, there was one, the red horse had a red jacket on, the black horse had a black jacket on. It was really cool. She even found a pregnant woman to be the pregnant woman who was about to give birth. It was just it was so awesome. So in this tour, one of the points, we were in Athens, Greece. And in Athens, one of the mornings, we climbed up this hill that was kind of on the outskirts of Athens itself. And when we got to the top of the hill, what we could do is see a whole panoramic view of Athens. Off in the distance was the Parthenon, which was breathtaking. All these huge, of course, it's kind of one of those things where you're going, ooh, I like it, but I shouldn't, because what are they? They're temples to, gods, other gods, foreign gods, gods that are not. But it was beautiful. The Parthenon off on the back, and then down below was just this lush